Darren McClymans has low browser space on their device. This may affect their local recordings. More details.
Don't talk to me about how much storage I have. How dare you? How dare you?
Anyway, um, hi everybody. Welcome back to Lois and Clark. Wait, wrong show. Superman and Lois, retrospectives, season dos, episode 14. I hope that's how you say 14 in Spanish. Um, but World's War Bazaar. That's the title. I had to say it a little slowly there. And uh, before we started this retrospective, I knew that this was one of the episodes this season, this and episode 10, that stuck out the most. And rewatching it for this, I think this episode still really holds up. Interestingly, we were chatting about this a little earlier today. Darren said that prior to this rewatch, it was his least favorite episode of the show.
Yeah, I remember this episode, and I don't even know if I fully agree now, but like back at the time, I was like, oh yeah, I don't like season 2. Like this was the episode that was like, yeah, season 2 isn't for me. I'm not a huge fan. And maybe we'll get into that a bit later, but I did enjoy it a lot more this time around. I think there's a lot of great moments in this episode. There's a lot of like big, like holy shit, whatever.
I mean, I think they start with probably one of the greatest character moments. You know, whenever Clark is being brought in and he's talking to John and Nat. He's like, "Hey, thank you both. You saved my life." And Nat, and I think it was a really big moment for Nat, who's like being used to living on this world around this family, around someone with the face of her mother's murderer, essentially, and. I think it was pretty big of her to say, the world needs Superman. It was like, that was a really good character moment for her, I thought, as kind of a full circle moment from the beginning of the season. So I think it started off with a really nice character moment, and there were a lot of those that were well placed throughout this. What you boys thinking?
Yeah, you definitely feel it's a penultimate.
Yeah.
It's definitely setting up the finale. It's setting up that kind of a lot of the plot. It's starting to wrap up a lot of these plot lines that have been kind of laid out. The big Lana, I think, stuff this season starting to come to a close a little bit. We're starting to see the reward, I guess, to the ending here. And a big thing obviously happens with the Lana storyline. This episode as well. So some big fight scenes, some crazy stuff happens. And yeah, overall pretty solid, I'd say.
Yeah. And I also think that when it gets to some of these character moments, off the top of my head, I think this was one of Jordan's better episodes. Like, I think this is one of the standout ones for him because sure, does it feel maybe a tad manufactured that Jordan has to shine in an episode where Superman is sidelined for part of it? I mean, sure, but I don't know. I'm not as I was not nearly as frustrated with Jordan in this episode as I was with future episodes past this, where I'm not saying he necessarily gets bad. There are just some storyline decisions they do with him where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But
agreed.
I like this this episode for him a lot.
You like that he got beat up?
I mean, it ended up being a pretty cool fight. He held his own against the Bizarro Lana and Bizarro John for a good bit until
I'd say too good. Like there was a point where I'm like, I think there's a bit of plot armor here. Like he's facing off against two Kryptonians who have way more experience than him. I'm like, all right, bud. I feel like you'd get
yeah, and then Natalie comes in after that. Making a hell of an entrance. I got to say, her first. Well, actually not first because her first was last week's, but one of her first times in her what is eventually known as her Starlight armor. I like that moment a lot. And before that, we get, I think, one of the standout moments of the episode when I think probably one of the better identity reveals we get, where it's revealed to Sarah because the Bizarro Lana just pops up randomly, and you can see both the look on Sarah and Lana's face where they're like, "Oh shit!" and Jordan's telling them to get out of there, and Sarah, admittedly, is a little concerned. She's like, "What are you doing? You can't, do anything against this." And just kind of in a similar way that Clark does. He doesn't punch something or blast something. He just makes his eyes go red and just does it so subtly. But I think it's also a really well done moment. And I think Indy on the opposite side of that moment really sells the response well, because you can't really process it in the moment, but she has to get out of there. You can even hear her scream from outside the school where she's like, "Don't hurt him." And that kind of pushes Jordan to get up and keep fighting.
I think it's interesting because this is our first week of recording since Obsession has been out, and so I'm definitely more like trying to keep an eye on Indy and like her performance in the show, and like trying to look at like scenes. And I think this is probably one of Indy's better episodes as well, where she actually gets some real meat to perform, like the moment towards the end of the episode where she's yelling at her mom of like, "You had no right to keep this from me."
She's like, "I broke up with him. I wouldn't have done that if I knew."
And I felt like I was like, oh, there's a little bit of Obsession coded in there. There's a little bit of like what I love for her. I mean, not on the same scale whatsoever, obviously, but I was like, okay, they actually let her do something, because I feel like most of the show she's just kind of very, like monotone in terms of her performance. It's the same kind of level, so it's cool seeing her get to do a little something there.
I think it just has to do with the nature of the character that she's playing, too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, I mean, and I didn't see this show, but from what I understand, it was a similar situation with that 13 Reasons Why show that she was in.
I just recently found out she was in 13 Reasons Why.
I didn't know that either. It's crazy.
Yeah, admittedly, or I think from what I understand, it's kind of a similar situation there, where it may seem a little one note, but that's the character that she's playing.
Yeah.
But no, I liked her moments in this episode, and even Lana's talk with Kyle afterward, where she was like, what do you think's better, knowing something's going to happen that's bad, or not knowing at all? Like, it's one of those conversations that creates a lot of real world discussion, I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay. The whole not the courtroom, the whole town hall thing pisses me off. The people in the town. Companions are so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Two scenes in a row. Like, they are the definition of sheep, of just oh yeah. I really dislike that scene. Not necessarily that I think that they would believe, because I understand it's a kind of a silly concept.
But I mean, look what happened in season 1. Like, is it that far-fetched?
Yeah, why would Lana be lying about this? Half of you got abducted and turned into Kryptonians last season. She is known, like the city knows that she helped Superman last year.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the dialogue in with the town folk. It felt very scripted to me. It felt a little CW sometimes for me.
Yeah, because they're like, "Hey, we deserve to be led by somebody that we can trust." It's like, I get it.
Again, and maybe it's just because I love Lana and I think that she deserves more respect. But I really liked where they were going with that episode, and I think it leads into the stuff we see at the end of the show, foreshadowing. I don't think it was meant to be that, but Superman isn't just Superman because he saves people. He inspires people. He gives them something to look up to, and you can do a lot by just being you and being that symbol of hope for people.
Yeah,
and people will listen to you, which I thought was a nice sentiment. And again, goes into how we end the show, where the whole thing is Superman doesn't just save people. He can do more with his power and with his respect and with his resources than just save cats out of trees and punch the bad guys.
Well, they even go into that at the beginning of this episode with him and Lois, where he's like, I don't have my powers, I can't keep them safe, and she's like, you're not Superman because of your powers, you're Superman because you give people hope, so give them hope. And even Lana too, like, is she trying to balance so many things at once right now in her life? Yeah, but when she hears what's happened, you can see that concern for her friend in there. She's like, is he okay? And the two of them kind of working together near the end, and Superman says, hey, I saw what you guys were capable of when you stood together last year to defend against this. So it's moments like that I feel like, I don't know if necessarily make some of those irritating moments better, but it's the right counter, if that makes any sense. Like, it's the right thing to go against that. And it was one of those things too where and I'm actually really glad that the identity reveal with Sarah happened in this episode, because I was getting a little bit of a flashbacks to season 1 where Sarah was like, wait, you guys knew about all this stuff was happening? All right, I get why you weren't able to say anything about that. It was all sorts of nuts. And even in this episode, Sarah was like, well, you knew about this? I'm like, wait, are we doing this again? But then doing the identity reveal, I think, got rid of any future problems that could have caused. There was still some more drama that came later, but it kept that element from being too repetitive.
And it's interesting too, because I don't think she's fully put together everything yet, right? Like, she hasn't put together, oh wait, her dad is Superman. Like, I think, and I don't know, like, I do wonder if there is a way, like, if there would have been a way to spin it of like, okay, I got these powers and I can do this stuff without revealing that he's Superman. But I understand that's a little hard when, especially with what we know now, where there aren't that many powered people just wandering around, right? So if you can fly and you have heat vision and you have super breath and you super speed, you're probably a Kryptonian. Like, that just kind of works out.
Yeah. And I mean, again, this is kind of like the one aspect of the show that I just often don't have anything nice to say about, which is the Allie character. That's like the one. It's just like the one character in the show where it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, this just doesn't work. The idea isn't bad. It's just the way they executed it.
I just don't care. I don't. And I think that's my biggest thing with the season is, like, again, there's not a lot that I'm like, oh, this is so bad. Like, I don't think it's that kind of season. Like, I think every episode has merit, and I think every episode is overall good. There's not like a bad episode, but it's a bunch of these little things that just don't work for me. And Allie, I think, is the big one. I think if you could have made Allie a more interesting antagonist, maybe this season could have worked better with maybe fewer episodes.
Maybe give her an amount of episodes similar to what Bizarro had, and maybe give Bizarro a little more.
Yeah. Speaking of Bizarre.
Yep.
You good, bud? You're muted, bud. You're muted.
Is this a recording or a dentist appointment?
Yeah, I see I'm missing a side tooth.
Did you just notice?
No.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Bud.
But that's the thing. Every black person is missing their side tooth at one point in their lives. Because we don't like to go to the dentist because we don't want to use our insurance. We just have the teeth pulled.
All right. We got what else? We got more of the fortress in this too, which I did like that side of things too, although they did utilize a little bit of the cliche where it's like, all right, yeah, we heard most of the message, but not all of it.
Yeah.
Like what they wanted to say, which is funny that another Superman property later did that same thing. But anyway,
the whole episode, I was like, throw him in the sun. The whole episode, throw him in the sun. Just do it. That's how he gets his powers back.
How is he breathing in space, though? Wait, no, we didn't get to that yet, did we?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I
sorry.
mean, his molecules are still there. They just need to be jump started. Like his
Yeah.
molecules are still Kryptonian.
I just love how he's just like so just useless. Everybody's like, "Hey, hand on the shoulder."
Yeah,
Gonna be
or
okay.
that he like slips coming up the stairs.
And again, foreshadowing, I think, into what we do in a couple of seasons. Like
Yeah,
that's been the funnest thing about the show. This show has so many. Again, I don't even think they meant to do it. Like I think a lot of this was just by
yeah,
accident. But there's so many
yeah.
foreshadowing things to build on.
And
Where eventually
it just happened to work out that way.
it worked out very well in their favor. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's very fun. And again, like I know you already mentioned it, but I do love Jordan having to step up. I love storylines like that. Like
Yeah.
they've done that a couple times now, but every time they do it with the show, I love it. Where Jordan or Jonathan or John Henry have to be like, all right, he's not around. Let's step up and do this shit. And it's always so hype. It's always so sick. And that shot is probably one of the most famous shots of the show when Jordan does turn around to yell at Sarah and you give the beating red eyes. It's like,
Run!
shit.
Yeah, great
The
stuff.
effects looked really good there. Like it
Yeah.
looked really, really, really solid.
I will say, we were talking about character moments a little bit ago. I love the moment between Clark and Sam where Clark's like, "Hey, listen, Sam, saving someone's life is never a mistake, especially yours." It's like that moment. This hits really hard, and it makes what Sam does later in the show even more touching. And it's it's those moments that remind me of like whether it's like Quentin Lance on Arrow or like early Flash version of Joe West. It's like just those supportive dad type of characters. I always love in media like that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Another great piece of foreshadowing. Just like he couldn't save him that time. Or I guess you could view it as like the reverse. Like he took that to heart. I'm like, all right, well,
Literally.
I'm gonna pay it back. I'm gonna pay it forward. Yeah, he literally took it to heart.
Jared's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't mean to, but yeah, all right."
Yeah.
Man, I like even in the seasons like this, there's still so much to just love about this show.
I agree.
I'm trying to think about like some of the other moments that there were. We already did the Lana Kyle part. We did the town hall part. We were kind of frustrated there. I'm trying to think.
It's interesting seeing all the like displaced items start changing throughout the episode.
Yeah, and or like that,
out.
or the text in the Gazette like flipping from forward to backward.
Yeah. Kyle
Yeah.
disappearing. It was also nice.
Yeah.
I think another reason I really did not like this episode back when it aired is I think this episode really shined a light on just they don't have enough for Jonathan to do. There's that big fight scene where he's just kind of standing there, being like, "Oh," just kind of standing in the corner.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's their fault. I don't know what I would have done instead. Like it's hard to write him in a show like this when everyone has a role but him, and I think that's part of the arc a little bit. But it's just like I wish they gave him more to do this season. And I think that switches up by next season. Like I think season 3 they start giving him some cool stuff, and then by season 4 obviously they do the thing. But that was one of my main issues in season 2 was just Jonathan. Either I didn't like the storylines he had, or they had nothing for him at all.
But whereas in season 3, even though he doesn't have powers, they still give him plenty of good storylines. Hell, he even gets some good action scenes without powers, which we'll get to those in future episodes. But
and it's unfortunate that this actor just does get the short end of the stick in terms of material.
We are approaching the end of Jordan Elseth's tenure on the show.
One last episode. Yeah.
It feels weird to say that, and admittedly, I get why they did have to recast. I don't fault the actor for it. I get having to step away from that sort of thing. I mean, it was the same sort of thing Colton Haynes did on Arrow. Sometimes he just had to step away.
Yep.
But I'll say they did a pretty great job in making two actors feel like the same character, while just admittedly making a character that looked more like Jordan's brother, I'd argue.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best recastings I personally have ever seen.
Yeah, because like going into season 2, because I was like as I was watching the show, currently as it was airing out, I was also like rewatching certain episodes a little bit behind with my mom, because I got her into the show around the time season 3 had ended, and she had just finished season 2, and I was like, I'm just gonna warn you, heads up, one of the twins gets recast. And she's like, "Oh, really?" And then 2 episodes in, she like barely noticed.
You don't like they do a good job, but like I think the first episode was a bit weird. By episode 2, I found myself not even thinking about it, like
because they like reshot the ending of season 2 and put the new actor in there. I was like, "All right." But I'll say one more part of this episode I really liked was the Lois and Nat moment where. Like she's like really worried about her dad, and it's been kind of hard for her and Lois to connect this season because like her mom died, and now she's been living with somebody that has the face of her mom but is not her mom, and is married to someone that has the face of her mom's murderer but is not her mom's murderer. So like how would anyone juggle that? And I don't feel like it was one of those derogatory things where it's like, oh, it's not really mom and daughter, because Lois even said near the beginning of the season, she's like, I would really like to get to know you, and you can tell how the bond between those two in this season, and especially like early season 3, has really strengthened for those characters.
Yeah, I do dislike that they continuously like death bait John Henry though. Like they do it like once a season, and it always pisses me. Like I think season 1 was fine, and this is like the 3rd time they've done it this season, and they do it next season. Like they do it a lot,
and they do it in season 4.
They do it a lot, and sometimes it's cool. But like when it happened this episode, I was like, all right, whatever. Like I know, I like you're fine, bro. Like it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Now that I'm realizing it, yeah, they do that a lot. I didn't even realize how many it was until you mentioned it. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know. And then rest in peace, John Henry next season, because I do not like John. I mean, there's nothing I dislike next season, but he's just not there for like 90% of season 3. I remember us ranting about that, Lance, like during the after party. We're like, where is he? Like he's just gone.
Yeah, he's kind of just relegated to the Bruno storyline, and even then, he doesn't show up for like half of it.
Well, it's because they had to cut the fucking John Deagle storyline out.
Yeah, which they even mentioned Diggle a few times in season 3. So I was like, really, guys?
Guys, get ready for next week. Oh boy.
Well, it'll be.
Boy.
Yeah, I guess with this episode, it will be next week. Oh man, that's gonna be a long one.
Well, that's all I have, I think, for episode 14.
Yeah, I think so too. I think at the moment, and I haven't rewatched the finale yet, but I think episode 10 and this one are so far the standouts for me this season.
Okay. Fair enough. I would have to go back and look at some of them.
Yeah, episode 10 is the whole Bizarro World episode.
Yeah, that one's up there. I don't know. I still really like the Sarah, like birthday episode. I know that's a hot take, but
the quinceañera episode.
Yeah. I know that's a hot take, but I really like some of the stuff that they were doing there.
Oh, me too. It's just you have that moment where everything just kind of goes to shit.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of why I like it though. Like I like the material that those actors had to work with, and I like the emotions that make me feel, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, even if we might look at some of the material sometimes and go, really? Like even if we might question it, like the actors are always giving it their all.
I know you haven't talked about this episode much, Lance. Do you have any thoughts?
It's your typical penultimate episode, honestly. It's your typical penultimate episode. John does more John Henry stuff with essentially still sidelining that, but doing it for the right reasons. Um, I feel as if they put a lot of focus on them as a duo, like towards the end, and it was too little, too late because we don't get a lot more of that as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
It was one of those nice little, at the time we thought, hey, like this is another, good heir versus dad daughter, hero team up. But
Yeah,
even though it ultimately ends up where it ends up, it might be the best use of that dynamic that we've gotten across all those shows. Because I mean, the only other ones are Oliver and Mia, which you barely get any of that too, and then Barry and Nora, which I'd argue got worse as the seasons went on.
yeah.
Well, it's crazy. This is the last episode that it was an Arrowverse show.
Yeah.
Before we officially knew. Yeah, like up until this point, we thought it was all connected. And then, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it next week.
That's probably going to be like, that's going to be a big part of that stream, by the way. It might end up being like 40% finale talk, 60% that.
Yeah. And I'm excited too because like I have such like, this is so silly, but like, silly PTSD with the episode because I really liked the final episode. I think it's good, but I was so soured by what had happened in the episode that I was like, well, fuck this show and fuck this episode. This sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to watch it with a more nuanced approach this time around.
Yeah, and knowing where things go in hindsight. And
absolutely. Yeah.
I'll say next episode, Jordan Elsess is also not the only actor we say goodbye to in this show.
Mr. Talrow, yes.
Yeah. Which, we can always debate, like, could he have been worked into season 3 or especially season 4?
Yeah.
Which, that's always fun to speculate, but, again, we'll get there.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess I'm ending this, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Well, yeah, guys, let us know what you think about the episode in the comments. And, for some of you, this might be your first time watching this, which, if you are, hope you're enjoying the series. We will be back for whenever the finale live stream ends up being scheduled, because as of this recording, we haven't scheduled it yet, but you guys will see it. And, I've been enjoying season 2 and looking forward to start season 3.
Yeah.
And Darren's hosting the live stream.
I guess.
I guess he is. All right. Bye, everybody.